Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Away We Go, starring John Krasinski, Maya Rudolph, Jeff Daniels, Carmen Yogo, forgive me if I said that wrong, Jeff Gaffigan, Maggie Gyllenhaal, Josh Hamilton, and Allison Janney, directed by Sam Mendes. And I've only seen this one time before at a hotel room when movies were available for hotel rooms after theaters. But let's see how this goes because I don't remember it very well. Let's get into it. We open with Bert, played by John Krasinski, having sexual intercourse with Verona, played by Maya Rudolph. And I didn't know if they were married or if they're boyfriend girlfriend because she's pregnant with his body, with his baby, I meant to say, as she pushes him off the bed, which was immediately awkward. They wake up the next morning and talk about cobbling, in which I thought I had something to do with shoes, which I thought had something to do with shoes. And these opening scenes gave me the impression they love each other, but it doesn't show it based off the performances from both John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph. And to me, that's a problem coming from the beginning of the movie. They drive cross country to Bert's parents, and as Bert is talking very loudly on the phone, on to the point it annoys the hell out of Verona, and this doesn't make me believe in their relationship as loving, and I'm not really caring for them as a couple because their chemistry is absolutely terrible. They get to Bert's parents' place, and Gloria, who is the mother of Bert's, and I'm talking about Verona, and her father, Jerry, excuse me, played by Jeff Daniels, asking such terrible questions like if the baby is going to be born African American because Maya Rudolph is is African American, as the questions are so inappropriate. While at dinner, they announce they're leaving America to go to Belgium a month before the baby comes, which is a horrible planning, I must say. And they're terrible, terrible parents that hell I can't even stand them on screen because they make annoying decisions and act selfish about it, which is the stupidest thing a grandparent would ever make, as they miss the grandchild's first 2 years, as this script is already a mess. Verona wants to take a cross country trip with Bert and talk about visiting friends all over the country. And director Sam Mendes does a good job of showing cross country around the world, but unfortunately, he does a crummy job with the characters, as this script is one I wouldn't touch by a long shot. They're heading to Phoenix, Arizona by airplane and visit Lily, played by Allison Janney, and her husband Lowell, played by Jim Gaffigan, and their kids Ashley and Taylor, as they go to a dog race, and Taylor hears a white noise as his mother, it's not his mother calling him like 10 times, which was the funniest thing in the trailer, but it's the worst scene in the movie, as Lily talks inappropriately as she brings up how they're not married. So that helps quite a bit, while the dialogue is absolutely fucking unnecessary, as she's a loud talker, and I'm honestly embarrassed for Allison Janney, as she's a much better actress than this, and she deserves better than this, as all the actors do. Even John Krasinski, who does turn in tremendous work in the two movies of A Quiet Place, he even deserves better than this movie for damn sure. They go to Tucson by road to visit Verona's sister Grace, played by Carmen Yogo, forgive me if I said that wrong, while waiting for her. A mother teaches a boy about babies, which is a terribly inappropriate way for a mother to tell her kid. And I'm thinking, what the fuck was that all about? And life lessons here, folks. If you see a woman with a baby in their stomach or maybe fat or something like that, you don't comment on that, or else they'll be offended by that particular comment. And what the hell was with director Sam Mendes thinking of making a movie like this in the first place? As this is so offensively inappropriate for a director this prestigious. Bert and Verona spend time with Grace by first off having lunch with each other, which was a terribly written scene, while Verona wants to sell the house and tells Grace while Bert doesn't know a damn thing. And I and that kind of decision has to be up to the couple together to decide that, not the one person's decision. It has to be a mutual decision at best, as this was bothering me to begin with. Bert and Verona go to Madison, where with a few flight attendants saying to them she needs a doctor's note as they're led to believe she's 8 months pregnant, when she really is 6 months pregnant. And this movie is not making me laugh. While the next day they practice having an argument, and as they arrive to Madison, they get to Bert's cousin's work as his cousin Ellen, played by Maggie Gyllenhaal, is a breastfeeder to a 3 to 4 year old. I'm thinking if Grown Ups with Adam Sandler was rated R, that would just be as crude as this movie is. Way too fucking crude. And to be brutally honest, I hate those R-rated raunchy humor kind of bullshit of a movie, as it's not my thing. And if they get a sequel, it's a terrible idea in my opinion. Like if The Hangover had a fourth part, that would be one of the worst ideas. But this movie is crudely stupid. Bert and Verona get Ellen a baby stroller, and she wants it outside because she doesn't believe in them, which is a stupid reason to begin with to not have a stroller in the first place. Ellen gets her husband Roderick as they make love in front of their kids and want them to learn sex education in a very young age, which is not a good idea at all, as this script is not making me laugh, but is a mess of a movie. I did find it kind of stupid when Bert pushes Ellen's kid on a stroller as he rides it, and they take it back completely terrible. They go to Montreal by plane to get to a friend's place who has kids, and they watch The Sound of Music. And I guess I didn't mind that scene, but I would rather watch The Sound of Music instead of this movie. They leave the friends Tom and Munch's house, and Verona wants a family that like what the friends have as they go out with them, and announce they want to move to Montreal and have dinner together, with Tom pouring a shitload of syrup on his food. And next thing you know, Munch is dancing sexy while at a bar with karaoke, and Tom talks about Munch's miscarriage and how depressing their lives are, while Verona watches the end of Munch being sexy. And they wake up as Bert's brother's wife left him, and they go to Miami, Florida to support his brother Courtney and his daughter Annabelle, because he's getting a divorce with his wife Helena. And this movie at this point falls apart, as it unfortunately wasn't working for me from the beginning of the movie. Bert freaks out and calls a bunch of friends and co-workers of Helena, and he's not afraid of not being a good dad while he's talking about with Verona, and he asks her to marry him, and she says never, as she also says she'll never leave him. And these scenes are just banal, as they repeatedly say, "Do you promise?" And I'm like, oh, come on, this is repetitive. Just stop it, as it was getting on my last nerve. The next morning, Bert and Verona talk about how she had to pick oranges as a kid, and they get back home and go inside, and they have a nice view of the ocean. I wasn't sure what that was, and they say it's perfect for them to have a family, and this climax felt incomplete, because where was the birth of the baby was my biggest question for this whole movie. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 3.7 out of 10. The chemistry by these actors are absolutely terrible, as these actors deserve better than this movie. Even John Krasinski, who turns in better work in the two films of A Quiet Place, and director Sam Mendes does a crummy job at making a comedy funny. I can't believe this stupid, raunchy, R-rated, dark comedy kind of bullshit, as this is a terrible movie with dialogue that is way too damn crude, while the writing in this movie is a complete mess, and this is a hell of a sex education class. This movie is not funny, and I can't believe this is the movie director Sam Mendes made before his next two James Bond films, versus a movie I wish got the Best Picture Oscar of the year 2019. And before he makes the movie I'm going to talk about next time, as this is a solid non-recommendation. So I'm not going to be back for the James Bond films. I already did those. And same with 1917. So the next time I will be back is with Empire of Light, And until then, Taylor, Taylor, Taylor.